welcome to Minnetonka High School as we present another edition of the Fox 9 Game of the Week, live on the fox9.com website, the Fox 9 YouTube channel, and Fox Local. I'm Mike Eden, and I'm joined by the voice of Minnetonka basketball, Peter Amstutz. It's a late conference showdown. The defending Class 4A state champions, Minnetonka, riding a 9-game win streak against the 15-1 Hopkins Royals. Peter, anytime you get a late conference battle, you think of all the talent. Tonight is no exception.
Absolutely. I'm looking forward to seeing these two teams mix it up. I think we talked a little before the game. I think both teams want to control the pace. They want it to be fast. I think turnovers will be something that we're going to definitely keep track of. I see you've got some statistical data in front of you, and you absolutely know that both these teams want to play fast, and they've got great athletes across the board. And when you talk about Minnetonka, it starts and ends with Isa El-Amin. He won a state title last year, and he's back to try to repeat.
Isa El-Amin, 24 points or more in every game since De La Salle, when he scored 35. And on the Hopkins side, Anthony Smith, 4 30-point games. He is a lights-out shooter. But the man to watch is Jaden Moore, second in the state in total assists, third in total steals, 10 assists or more in 11 games, and 11 double-doubles of the points-assist variety. But, Peter, you could pick anyone in that Hopkins starting five, and they could step up on a moment's notice.
Yeah, Minnetonka's usually outsized, and I think that will probably be the same thing tonight. But Minnetonka really loves to push the tempo. They like to guard all the way out as far as down the court as they can, and I'm just excited. So Minnetonka they've got the black home uniforms on tonight, and Hopkins in the all-white road uniforms.
And before we tip off, we'd like to note that this Fox 9 Game of the Week broadcast is made possible in part by support from Summit Orthopedics and True Stone Financial. The starters for Hopkins, it's Jaden Moore, Anthony Smith, Davion Hart, J.J. Semenko, and Amid Nur. Minnetonka will start Duke Richardson, Jacob Hudson, Caleb Francois, Isa El-Amin, and Malachi Bodie, the St. Thomas football commit.
That's right. 3 state runner-up football players out there. Duke Richardson, wide receiver. Caleb Francois was the quarterback of that club. He'll be back for one more year. And he's getting some D1 looks over on the football side.
I knew his name sounded familiar. Of course, we had a chance to hear his name and all the others when Minnetonka won it all last year, beating late conference rival Wayzata in what was a wild Class 4A state championship. We will go to Hopkins. Last year, you remember this, Peter, Park Center, the 1 seed, they got bounced in the quarterfinals. I don't think too many folks had Minnetonka, but the Skippers, everyone thought it would be a rebuilding year, but much like the Vikings and the Lynx this past year, sometimes you can have success in rebuilding years, as Minnetonka is demonstrating.
Absolutely, and 4 seniors are gone from that team. Andy Stefanowicz probably the premier among them, as Hopkins running the shot clock down all the way to 4 here.
Hopkins, I don't think they recognize the clock. No, they're going to run out of time. Well, at the open, we talked about Hopkins wanting to turn you over. We start with a Minnetonka defensive stance that forces a turnover.
Yeah, I've called a bunch of home games here for the Skippers, and I think that's either the first or second shot clock violation I've seen either way, so it just doesn't really happen very much.
We thought Minnetonka might be the team that would try to slow things down a bit, but as Peter noted, these two can rev it up anytime. This is El-Amin. He got an offer from Concordia St. Paul a couple days ago. In Division II, no slouch, especially in the NSIC. A lot of Minnesota standouts playing for the Golden Bears. This is Hudson. He's in trouble. 5 to shoot. Minnetonka, they've got to go now. Here comes Francois, and he throws it away.
And they're going to call the shot clock violation. If you had bet me before the game that we'd see back-to-back shot clock violations, I think I would have given you pretty good odds.
I would have gone out and played the lottery. I would have bought a Powerball ticket, played a round of Plinko because I think I would have set a record. Am I allowed to say Plinko on the Fox 9 YouTube channel?
Why not?
Here comes Jaden Moore on the take, and we get our first bucket. Jaden Moore.
Nice drive there by Moore, beats his man, and Malachi bringing it up here.
Elamine inside to Francois. A couple of shovel passes, the fake by Bodie. Bounce pass. And a reverse, that's blocked by Hart. Is that a goaltend?
Yeah, late whistle from the near side official, but they're going to count it. So Duke Richardson, aforementioned, one of the members of that state runner-up football team, and he gets the first points for Minnetonka. This is the most hesitant I've seen Minnetonka to shoot the ball so far. No, it's early though.
So the goaltend means Minnetonka's on the board. No block for Hart. Smith. Over to Hart. Smith and Hart working the lane. Anthony Smith on the take. He's fouled and he'll shoot 2.
Yeah, Richardson picks up his first. Skippers, they like to extend the defense, but Hopkins moving the ball really well in that past possession and able to get a nice drive there. 2 free throw attempts coming up.
Hopkins 15-1, their lone loss this season against Wayzata, but there's another meeting to come. And Smith putting up some great numbers, 24.2 points per game. He'll take a split at the line, though, when it's 3-2 in the early going. Minnetonka with a rim run. It's Elamine. Missed the start of the season due to injury, but has come back flying. The lane is open, or at least open enough for Hart to take it in.
Yeah, Hart challenged there by Richardson, and it's odd to see Malachi Bodie bringing it up, but I think they think he has the best matchup there in terms of preventing the steals.
And as you noted, Peter, a lot of multi-sport athletes on this Minnetonka roster. Here's Bodie, who launches a 3, can't connect. Rebound Semenko. Hopkins, of course, one of the most storied programs in boys basketball. Lots of state championships. A few NBA prospects along the way, including Amir Coffey. Elbow J won't go down for Semenko. Richardson scrapping for the rebound. Elamine will bring it up, and the Elamine name synonymous with greatness in basketball as well. Elamine can't get the finish. Hart brings it up after scooping the rebound. Smith working the left wing. Inside to Nur. The fadeaway. Got it.
Wow. That's a nice shot from a big man from the elbow. And really difficult to defend, especially for Minnetonka, who I mentioned at the offset, really outsized in that department.
7-4, 14.5 left in the first half. Richardson. They cycle it through. Now they try to go inside. Richardson on the cut. Bobbled it. Minnetonka will reset. Elamine. Around the key. Hudson. Step through, long. Smith with the rebound. Wants to take it in. And cannot. Jacob Hudson putting up the stop sign.
Yeah, Hudson, nice job digging in there. Smaller player, but able to play down there on the block.
13:51 left. We'll have a side out coming up for Minnetonka. And Bryce Tesdahl, the head coach of the Skippers, winning a state championship. The third, no, fourth. I'm counting up all the titles. Minnetonka, they haven't won with the same frequency as Hopkins, but they have a place in boys basketball history.
Yeah, this year could be a big step towards continuing that. Elamine from deep, count it. Boom goes the dynamite for Elamine.
I'm guessing you've worked on that call when you are on the mic for the NFHS live streams here.
That's right.
Semenko hacked. And he'll shoot 2. I was going to say Hopkins led by Ken Novak Jr., who is one of the most decorated coaches in boys basketball history.
Well, it's been a Novak at the helm there for quite a while. Is that right?
That sounds about right. Semenko, 17.1. And Peter, you look up and down the Hopkins starting 5. They have put up some incredible numbers from the floor. Semenko, 585. Smith, 617. Hart 587, Nurse 636. That's what makes Hopkins such a tough team to contain.
Absolutely. Yeah, they get some of the greatest athletes within the metro area, and Novak knows what to do with them once he got them. Malachi able to break the token pressure there, and with 13 minutes or so to go, it is 9-7, Hopkins with the lead.
Hudson nearly left his pivot, but kept a foot on the floor. Elamine through the middle. Nur was there to greet him. Moore, the lob, and the throwdown. Davion Hart flushes in a pair.
Electric play there from the Royals and their fans showing out well tonight.
They typically do. I'll never forget one of my favorite memories was years ago, Hopkins, Minneapolis-St. That was Amir Coffey and Tyler Johnson. Here's a three from the corner. Bullseye. Caleb Francois. I guess he knows a thing or two about making big throws, being the quarterback and all. And Minnetonka will take over.
Yeah, so turnovers really have not been as big a factor as I thought. That's one of the first ones I can recall from Hopkins. And a couple substitutions, at least one in on for Hopkins. Looks like Julius Ellis in, the junior, number 34, and he's going to provide a little token pressure to Malachi as he brings it up. 12-12 to play, and the Skipper's down by 1, 11-10.
I think that was the first turnover since the shot clock violations to open the game. Here's a touch three from the wing. That graces the front iron. Julius Ellis snags the board. Less than 12 to go in the first. Mike Keaton, Peter Amstutz with you on the Fox 9 Game of the Week.
That's a look that Jacob Hubson would normally like, but not able to connect on that one.
And I always say, if it doesn't go in, but it's an open look, I take it every time. Just because it doesn't go in doesn't make it a bad option. Ellis lost the handle, tries to make lemonade out of lemons. Holy roller, Batman.
That was very nice there from the substitution in for Hopkins. Ellis, kind of a no look behind the back, and here's a turnover.
By Jaden Moore. He's adept at this, and he'll go to the line for two.
So Moore had a 3-on-1, elected to take it himself, and he draws the foul against Hudson. And we've got 11:22 to go. The Royals up 13-10. And I'm not sure about our score bug situation, so that's why I'm trying to continue to give the time and score.
As am I. You and I are thinking on the same page. I guess this is what happens when you get two play-by-play guys together. Jaden Moore, 16.2 points per game. Misses the front end there. 10.1 assists. That is insane.
Yeah, he's putting up some crazy numbers, and we're, last I checked, in deep into January. So those numbers matter.
The last time I remember somebody, Jaden Moore, missing the free throws, so an empty possession, but the last time I saw someone rival Moore in terms of assists was Trey Holloman, who is going to play Minnesota tonight over at Michigan State.
That's right, up in East Lansing. It's a big one for the Gophers as they've been able to protect the home court recently.
3 wins in a row for the Golden Gophers. And like Minnetonka, folks thought it might be a rough year, but that's why you play the games. 3 straight away for Jacob Hudson.
So we talked about a good look for Hudson last time. This time he cashes it in to tie things up 13 apiece. Just under 11 to go.
Hudson's on the board. Hart swarmed. Works through his coverage, but too strong on the runner. Ellis gets the loose ball, can't hang on to it, and it's scooped up by Francois.
Those loose balls will be something else to keep track of. I know it's a hard stat, but those 50-50s, if either team can win those, that could be a big difference.
In a tie game, those 50-50s could loom large. Richardson, side fade. Oh, that did everything but go in.
Yeah, Duke, when he gets hot, he's hot, and that one was really close.
Hopkins, here's Semenko in the lane, dumps it to Ellis. And Francois there for the strip. That's what I like to see, Peter. If you don't get a bucket or if something goes wrong, get back on defense. The best coaches will tell their players next play.
That's right, and Francois, great dig there on the bigger player, able to get a turnover.
Elamine along the right wing. The skip. Side fade, Hudson will give it a go. 3-ball corner pocket.
Wow, Hudson ends up on his backside there. That's similar to a few shots I've seen him make, and he's feeling it tonight.
I'm sure for him, it's child's play. He does that in his sleep. The lane closes up for Moore. He's got to kick out. Finds Semenko. Bullseye.
Semenko right in front of Tesdall and the Tonka bench, and Tesdall apoplectic there as he thought there might have been a travel before that.
Instead, it's a 3 for Hopkins. We're even at 16 as we approach 9 minutes to go in the first. Another driving kick. Look out. Off the heel for Elamine. The hustle by Francois gives Minnetonka another chance. As you know, of course, shot clock resets 20 on offensive rebounds, just like the college game. Bodie. Ellis has a couple inches on him. Minnetonka trying to squirt through a wall, and it's turning into a slip and slide out there.
Whew. I think about 6 or 7 players had their hands on the ball in the last 5 seconds, but it's going to end up as a under the basket inbounds for Minnetonka. 8:37 to go, and all knotted up at 16, and this is living up to its billing, Mike.
The problem for Minnetonka, they only have 2 seconds on the shot clock as the ball didn't touch rim. So they got to draw something and draw it up quick. Hudson to inbound. Minnetonka, they're going to run out of time.
And Tesdall not happy. I think he thought he was able to communicate to his team. Maybe a time there when a timeout would have been useful. I know coaches hate to burn them at this point of the game.
And I've been intrigued at the shot clock awareness over the last couple of years, Peter. That you get some moments where players forget how much time is on the clock, and I'm wondering if we need a little more seasoning. Here's Ellis with a putback. I'd say he's seasoned.
Yeah, Ellis, a good substitution there. He's been involved right away, and his size mattered there as he was able to grab that rebound putback. Ortiz from the corner, not able to get it to fall, and here comes Hopkins quickly the other way.
Tyson Moore getting the rebound in stride. There are 3 in all. Jaden is the big name, but Tyson and Trey can chip in as well. Minnetonka running out of real estate there. If that was at Williams Arena where they played in March, maybe you get the steal, but here you have 10 less feet of court.
Yeah, triple team on Parker Christensen there, and the ball deflects out of bounds. So stay right here with Hopkins. First substitution in for Minnetonka is number 15, Ortiz. Anthony Ortiz, he's been getting quite a bit of minutes off the bench.
Semenko to inbound. Smith, no field goals yet. Nur, turnaround, off the heel. Ortiz with the board.
And Tesdall barking out a play as Hudson's going to gain the timeline.
Richardson takes a stroll and gets the bounce.
Wow, comes in on the left hand, moves to the right. That's a smooth finish from Richardson.
That's not easy to do, switching hands en route to the rim. Smith from 14, swish.
That's a player right there. That's a shot that is hard to defend. He's going to pull up, rise over his player, and make it count. 20-18, Royals ahead with 7 to go.
This one has been tight from the tip. Straightaway 3, not there. Rebound Anthony Smith. Smith, a bona fide shooter. Works his way, tried the dump to Trey Moore. Didn't work out. Trey regathers, goes cross court to Tyson. Dribbled it off his foot, recovers. Semenko fakes it. Minnetonka wanted to travel. 3 offline. Elamine evading defenders and draws the foul.
Believe it or not, I think that's the first team foul on Hopkins. They were able to play about 12 minutes, 11 and a half minutes of this half with no fouls.
Something to monitor as this game moves along, but we've got free throws. By the way, if you like what you see, we'll be back here next Tuesday in our Fox 9 Game of the Week coverage when the Minnetonka girls host St. Michael-Aberville, another late conference battle. Right now, we've got Elamine at the line, averaging 24.3 a game.
Cosgriff has himself a nice group back. They lost Aaliyah Crump from that state championship team playing down at a prep school in Florida, but able to reload. And I don't think a lot of teams want to see the Minnetonka girls come March.
Well, both the boys and girls have to deal with what I call the group of death, Section 2. And Hopkins, there's no guarantee they'll make state because YZ is in Section 6. I have a feeling tickets for that section final will be sold out pretty quickly. If it is indeed those two, I don't want to assume. Jaden Moore missing the bunny. We're tied at 20. Peter, we have had a flurry, a litany of ties in this late conference duel.
I think at this pace the game will be over by about 7:45.
We'll have got time to finish the Gophers game.
Francois, I think, is going to get whistled for this one in the corner as he tries to track down that rebound, battling against Jaden Moore. And yeah, not a single stoppage of play, not a single timeout. Only 5 fouls so far through the first 12 minutes, and it's been great basketball, I gotta say.
Caleb Francois did pick up his second, so we'll have to keep that in mind. Here's a touch three. That bounces off the cylinder, and Peter, we might have jinxed ourselves.
I'm trying to slow the pace here. Do we get paid by the hour, Mike?
Let me talk to our producer about that. This will be a side up for Hopkins, 5:51 left. Seriously, it's an honor. This is my Fox 9 Game of the Week debut, and Peter, he's been here many times calling a whole lot of games here for Minnetonka. We've been around the court once or twice.
Pretty stellar defensive effort by Ortiz on that one against Trey Moore, and Hudson able to gain the timeline.
Hudson, coast to coast, too strong, and we're still knotted at 20. Moore looking to change that, and Tyson Moore lays it in. We have our first timeout for Minnetonka. 22-20. We're back in 30 seconds.
It's not just any day. It's your day off. A chance to reset, to recharge. A day to lace up, stretch out, and dive into what ignites your soul. This day is all about you, living life at your summit.
Mike Beaton and Peter Amstutz with you in our Fox 9 Game of the Week, presented by Summit Orthopedics and True Stone Financial. 22-20, and Peter, you have a perennial power in Hopkins. They've, I don't want to say have rebuilt, but they've had some years where they don't go to state. Of course, Wayzata, no slouch, and Minnetonka. A lot of folks thought this would be a rebuilding campaign. They've won 9 in a row. The coaches praising the togetherness, the defense, doing all the little things. Not a whole lot of specifics, but Minnetonka, they like the culture, and Bryce Tesdall knows a thing or two considering his family tree.
Yeah, I think Coach Tesdall has been a whole new, basically, identity to Minnetonka, and it's been, focus on defense, play together. We know we're not gonna be bigger than most teams, but we're gonna work harder, we're gonna out hustle, and we're gonna have better stamina.
22-20, a lower scoring game than we thought. I wonder if that would favor Minnetonka. But we'll see. Still a lot of game to be played. Richardson to Hudson, hand off to Issa Elamine. 8 to shoot. Elamine back pedals to the half-court line. Richardson on the move. Minnetonka has to get rid of it. Ooh, that's close. Hopkins with the rebound. That was close. Moore inside. Jaden to Tyson, that is. There are 3 of them.
Yeah, beautiful pass from Jaden to Tyson. Tyson lays it up. Can't quite get it to fall, but he does draw the foul against Richardson. And we take a peek at Richardson foul situation. Looks like his second. So 2 fouls on Richardson, on Hudson and on Francois. The Royals just with one team foul this far. And I really like that cut from Moore there. Got himself open underneath the basket and able to connect on that first free throw.
Tyson Moore knocks down the freebies. Hopkins coming into this game averaging 96.6. Minnetonka 70.9. So I think that gives you an idea how the two sides are seeking victory. (24-20). I think this is the largest lead of the game for either team. Richardson to Elamine. Skips it. Jacob Hudson's three offline. Hopkins, they've got numbers, except Duke Richardson snatches it away, launches, can't connect. Peter, if Minnetonka, if they can get some of those threes to drop, I think that's going to change the tenor of this one.
Yeah, I'll be interested to see what the percentages are at halftime. Long three on the way, no good there. And Skipper's able to recontrol, but you're absolutely right. They're getting some good looks, just haven't hit a high enough percentage to take the lead in this contest.
Hudson. Hart was on him. Bodie. They do a little give and go. Now Francois straight away. Minnetonka serving from the key, but they've got 6 to shoot. Deep three. It's there.
Yeah, they leave Hudson open, and that time he dialed it in. Moore decided to slack off on him this time, playing maybe against the drive, and Jacob makes him pay.
24-23, 3:05 left in the first.
I do notice Minnetonka defensive pressure not quite as high, not quite as tight to the driver as they normally would be, showing a little respect to these athletes. And that was another turnover there that passed out of bounds from Moore.
Tyson Moore, I think, was looking for Davion Hart on a backdoor cut, but the cut hadn't happened yet. And Hopkins passes it into the abyss. 2:45 and counting. A low-scoring affair so far, and again, that might favor Minnetonka. Oh, look at this! Whoa! Wubba, 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 whoa, whoa, whoa!
Francois to Hudson, and a beautiful pass.
Hudson with 11, Francois with a nifty assist. Hard, smothered by the Minnetonka wall. Francois thinking about it, didn't see a lane. Now Minnetonka goes back outside. Elamine looking for space. He gets hacked. Hopkins, though, with several to give.
And the referee signaling before the shot there. So with exactly 2 minutes to go, 21 on the shot clock, the Skippers will trigger an inbounds under their own basket.
Hopkins still has 4 fouls to give. And I don't care who you are, Peter, if you have 2 fouls in 60 minutes of play, I'd say that's stingy, stellar, polished defense.
Agreed.
Give and go. Not there. Hopkins looking to go outlet. Smith pulls up. Yes.
Yeah, Smith shake and bake there. Gets the Royals back in the lead, 26-25, and we got about 100 seconds left in this first half.
A shake and bake as these two teams shake and bake leads. It has been close from the opening tip. 3 on the way. Bullseye.
So Malachi shows he can do more than just bang down low and intercept passes as a safety in football. He goes ahead and knocks down a 3.
Cross-court skip, 3 ball. Off the front iron.
Tesdall telling his team to slow things down here with about a minute to go, minute 6, as they need to gain the timeline. Shot clock down to 27.
Don't want to take it too slow. I've said this, the shot clock makes it easier for the refs to spot that 10-second violation. Minnetonka is still beyond the key. 10 on the shot clock. This is Hudson. 15-footer goes down.
So that was all Hudson there on that final about 10 seconds of that possession. He found himself loose at the elbow, and with shot clock, game clock, only about a second difference or so here, Mike.
This will likely be the last possession of the first half, and the Minnetonka fans bringing the noise for the first time tonight. Trey Moore blocked. Minnetonka has plenty of time. No! Jacob Hudson couldn't lay it in. Hopkins with a chance now. Smith had it stripped, but a foul, and Minnetonka in the penalty.
Well, golden opportunity there. Hudson couldn't get that layup to go, and Hopkins will have the chance to chip into this 4-point lead here with 5.3 seconds to go. So Minnetonka, regardless of the results of these free throws, will probably have another good opportunity.
Smith, as you saw, needed a moment to gather himself. That's why he didn't go to the free throw line right away. He'll try to bide as much time as he can.
He'll be shooting right into that Minnetonka students section. Ted Schultz standing there. We want to thank Ted for giving us the opportunity to call this game again tonight. Ted's always been a great supporter of live streaming and Minnetonka basketball as well.
Smith knocks down the front end, 81.5% free throw shooter, and Hopkins has a couple of young men who shoot in the 80s. Smith makes them count. Minnetonka still has 5.3 to make one more strike. They could do it here on the three. Not quite. Peter, what a first half, 30-28.
Don't think you can ask for much more than that, Mike.
Again, the score might favor Minnetonka because Hopkins, again, averages over 96 a game. We'll see if Hopkins can turn things up offensively in the second half, but what else would you expect? A defending champion that has regrouped splendidly and a team that is always in the conversation in Class 4A.
Yeah, exactly what we thought we'd get tonight. I'm looking forward to the second half.
We are too. We'll take a short break and then we'll have the halftime report. You're watching the Fox 9 game of the week. Minnetonka leads Hopkins 30-28.
A good neighbor would give you a cup of sugar if you asked. At Truestone Financial, we don't have any sugar, but we will give you up to $350 when you switch to a Truestone checking account. It's true, because we're Truestone.
It's not just any day. It's your day off. A chance to reset, to recharge. A day to lace up, stretch out, and dive into what ignites your soul. This day is all about you, living life at your summit.
There are lots of reasons to want a big backyard. At Truestone Home Mortgage, we all agree dog birthday party is at the top. Great home loans, expert help, and a focus on what matters to you. It's true, because we're Truestone. There are lots of reasons to want a big backyard. At Truestone Home Mortgage, we all agree dog birthday party is at the top. Great home loans, expert help, and a focus on what matters to you. It's true, because we're Truestone. A good neighbor would give you a cup of sugar if you asked. At Truestone Financial, we don't have any sugar, but we will give you up to $350 when you switch to a Truestone checking account. It's true, because we're Truestone.
We're getting a little halftime show. I shouldn't say little for the Minnetonka cheerleaders. This is probably a big deal for them. Mike Peden and Peter Amstutz with you live on Fox9.com, the Fox 9 YouTube channel, and Fox Local for the Fox 9 Game of the Week. Presented by Summit Orthopedics and Truestone Financial. Minnetonka leads Hopkins 30-28. Jacob Hudson leading the way for Minnetonka, 13 points, 3 triples. He has been the hot hand. Issa Elamine with a couple of buckets as well. Peter, what have you seen from Minnetonka, and how do you think this first half has gone for them?
Yeah, I think on the offensive end, they've been able to get the shots that they're looking for. I don't know what the shooting percentages are from three-point land, but they seem to be getting some good looks. Hudson, obviously, leading all scorers. That's a little bit of a surprise. He's more of a facilitator and contributing player from them, so that's great. You know, that's probably a lot more points than they would expect from a player like Hudson in the first half. And then when I think about the defensive end, it really seems like they're not extending the defense and pressuring the ball at the same level as they have the rest of the year. So they're laying back a little bit, allowing Hopkins to have more open looks from outside, but trying to cut down those driving lanes.
And to Peter's point, Hudson coming in 8.8 points per game, but you never know when your moment will come, and so far Jacob Hudson is delivering. For Hopkins, a lot of balance. Ellison Moore with a few bench points. Anthony Smith leads with 7. But no one for Hopkins has really been able to explode. We were talking about Jaden Moore in particular. He only has 2 points. And Anthony Smith, who's a scoring machine, just 7. I feel like that's favoring Minnetonka right now. But we've seen Hopkins. We know how much they want to run, as we saw them do late in that game. What do you think they will work on or adjust going into the second half?
Well, Hopkins, I feel like I'm not sure they expected this type of defense that Tesdall employed in the first half, and I think that might have set them back a little bit. But they, like you mentioned, they have some electric scorers. When they're able to run, they get out. We saw a highlight reel dunk in that first half, and I would expect Hopkins to continue to try to push the pace and continue to try to turn over Minnetonka and create those transition opportunities.
And don't forget, we are back here next week. No, really, Minnetonka will be the site once again, but we'll be featuring Minnetonka girls basketball at St. Michael Aberville. The girls, of course, are over at the Royals Athletic Center playing Hopkins and what could be a state tournament preview. So lots of big basketball games all over the metro as we head toward the final month of the regular season. We'll take another short break and come back for the second half. You're watching the Fox 9 Game of the Week.
A good neighbor would give you a cup of sugar if you asked. At Truestone Financial, we don't have any sugar, but we will give you up to $350 when you switch to a Truestone checking account. It's true, because we're Truestone.
It's not just any day. It's your day off. A chance to reset, to recharge. A day to lace up, stretch out, and dive into what ignites your soul. This day is all about you, living life at your summit.
There are lots of reasons to want a big backyard. At Truestone Home Mortgage, we all agree dog birthday party is at the top. Great home loans, expert help, and a focus on what matters to you. It's true, because we're Truestone.
We'll start the second half in just a moment as we continue live coverage right here on Fox9.com, the Fox 9 YouTube channel, and Fox Local. The Fox 9 Game of the Week presented by Summit Orthopedics and Truestone Financial. Mike Peden and Peter Amstutz with you. Every time you get a late conference battle of this magnitude and you think about their success over the last few years, Minnetonka, Wayzata, Buffalo made the show a couple of years ago. Hopkins, of course. I did St. Michael, Abbeville, Eden Prairie for the Game Time Media Network, and STMA could be a sleeper in Section 8. Whether it's boys or girls basketball, the late conference, it toughens you up.
Well, ever since I've only been in Minnesota for a little over, it's been 20 years or so. But
20 years?
Yeah,
Only
that's a
20
small.
years?
I mean, I'm not a native, so like that's still a short timer. But yeah, I remember seeing Chris Humphreys play for Hopkins. I think that was one of my first years out here, and ever since then, I just started following the league, and yeah, it's always been some of the best talent and some of the best coaching, some of the best basketball that I've seen. And I grew up in Indiana and saw some really good basketball there.
Chris Humphreys, of course, with a shot that forever remains in state tournament lore, made ESPN. Actually, Hopkins, I think, has made SportsCenter a couple of times, but the Chris Humphreys play got a game-tying bucket, I think, in overtime on his butts.
I think that might have been Blake Hoffarber.
Or Hoffarber, that's right. I'm getting my Gophers mixed up.
That's all right.
You see, this is what happens when you cover basketball for 19 years. They all come together.
Yep.
You're right. Well, I'm sure Humphreys won't mind the shout-out. I got to see him play, too, a couple of times, including an exhibition game. And well, Humphreys, let's just say he brought his stuff, too. They both, Hoffarber and Humphreys, played a big part. And then the other time was Amir Coffey, believe it or not. You probably remember this, the 4 overtime game with Shakopee. He hit a half-court buzzer beater. Of course, the overtimes, how they played out, will never happen again with the shot clock, but another play that lived in infamy. And then in the final, J.P. McKira scores 42. Lakeville North gets Hopkins.
Yeah, I saw Amir Coffey play really well in the tournament for the Gophers, and now he's still getting lots of minutes for the Clippers, I believe.
The Coffey family, a big storied legacy in basketball, as Hopkins will take over here to start the second half. With Amir still playing in the NBA and Nia still playing in the WNBA. We'll see if one of these young men make the NBA or go elsewhere. A lot of multi-sport talent on the Minnetonka side, and Hopkins throws it away. Peter, we're getting a little bit of symmetry here. The first half opened with 2 turnovers, and here we get both teams turning it over to start this half.
You got it, Mike. Shot clock violations in the first half, and a couple of balls just tossed or deflected out of bounds to start things here.
Another thing I've noticed, pretty short rotations as Bodie can't get the reverse. Hopkins going a little deeper into their bench, but Minnetonka only playing 6 in the first half.
Yeah, that state championship game, they only played 6 players. And yeah, it's sort of a Tesdall staple. He gets his tight rotation, and he likes to stick with it.
Semenko, the runner, is there.
Nice finish there from Semenko. And if you're a Hopkins fan, nice to see him get aggressive and go towards the hoop.
That ties it again at 30. Of course, Peter, in the state tournament, you get the media timeout, so it's easier to shorten up the rotations. But a title's a title, and that's what Minnetonka claimed last year. And they hope to do it again this year. They've never gone back-to-back the way Hopkins has. Bodie goes back out. Richardson in trouble. Smith with the takeaway, and he takes off running for 2.
So Francois got back, not able to challenge that shot quite enough, and Hopkins starting off a little bit quickly here in the second half has a 2-point advantage.
After a turnover, they've scored on their last couple of possessions, but as we saw in the first half, neither team could break away. The largest lead for either side was 4. Minnetonka couldn't get the bounce pass underneath to work. Richardson in trouble again. Bodie is there to settle things down. Hudson, hand off to Bodie, but a charge will wipe it away.
Yeah, local fans not a fan of that one. I would have to see the replay, but what looked like a good offensive play for Minnetonka gets wiped off with a charge, and that happens from time to time.
Hopkins standing tall. Lane opens up. And now a foul the other way. So the symmetry continues between these two.
And yeah, Novak questioning that one on his sideline. Both coaches, they don't spend a lot of time using the bench.
Makes you wonder why they have chairs over there if they don't sit in them.
What's the point?
Well, Minnetonka, you've seen this, Peter. You can always know where to find the coaches. They're among the sharpest dressed staffs I've seen in the Metro.
Yeah, Bryce likes to break out the different fits, and he has his assistants tag right along.
I dig the suit and sneakers look. Minnetonka digging that one. Hudson to Francois.
Yeah, good setup there from Hudson. He beat his man, and then Francois lurking underneath. So with 15 to go, we're all square.
Just a second field goal for Francois. He's got 5. Semenko grabbed, and he'll be drawing a foul in that instance. Minnetonka winners of 9 in a row. Their last loss came to De La Salle at the Capital City Classic, a 75-72 defeat, but De La Salle, one of those perennials, one of those teams where it's not a bad loss regardless of class.
Yeah, we'll have to keep an eye on the foul situation for Minnetonka. The only player with 3 right now is Hudson, but just as I mentioned that, another one whistled here. So we've got Richardson with 2, Hudson with 3, Francois with 2, and Elamine with 2.
And Elamine just picked up his 3rd.
Yeah, definitely something to keep an eye on with so much time left in this contest.
Hopkins, nobody in any danger in terms of foul trouble yet. Only 2 fouls in the first half, so they have plenty to spare as we get a mid-range J that bounces off the rim from Semenko. Hopkins pursues the O-board. Semenko left open, and he'll flip it in.
Yeah, and if I'm a Hopkins fan, that's exactly where I want to see Semenko. I want to see him cut into the basket. I want to see him go into the basket on the dribble. He's got a size advantage, and he's a good athlete.
Bodie finds Francois, but it bounces out. Ball's up for grabs. It's Richardson. Excuse me, Elamine. Thought I saw 1 for a second. Minnetonka on the line, it looks like.
Yeah, hard to see right in front of us, but Duke Richardson dove on the floor, must have got out of bounds, and it was a breakneck pace there for about the last 10 seconds.
For a moment, I thought we were watching an NFL scrum breakout with loose balls, everyone diving for it. 34-32, but it speaks to the hustle, the grit these two have. Minnetonka, I don't want to say they have something to prove, but that's an offensive foul. Everyone hesitated for a moment. The sideline official was about ready to make his motion, then looked over to the baseline official to confirm, and it's a needed charge.
Yeah, exactly right. You called that perfectly, Mike. Both officials blew the whistle, and then one deferred to the other, and they made the charging call.
Of course, the officials can't score points, but they're a team as well.
Working together.
You like to see it. 13:40 left in the second half. Still tight. Elamine's 3 off the rim. Rebound tipped. Francois lets it fly. In and out.
Yeah, those are the kind of possessions that Minnetonka wants. A couple of good opportunities, can't pay it off.
Hopkins moving the ball with haste, and it leads to a Hart triple. Largest lead of the game for Hopkins.
Good look there from Hart after the good ball rotation, and Minnetonka looks like they're going to slow things up on this possession.
And then they speed things up. Or at least Richardson does. Changing speeds, though, always key. Hopkins says, right back at you.
Yeah, right. Check that. Davion Hart, after making the 3, he beats all the skippers down the floor and able to cash that one in.
I've mentioned this, Peter, sometimes the best time to score is right after your opponent does.
Agreed. Yep, got to get back on defense.
Elamine's three. A bit long. Semenko with the rebound. Hopkins wants to run. Now Smith pulls up for three. Can't get it to go. Elamine. Whoa. That was close. Elamine gets his own miss. Puts it back up. No. Third try is the charm.
Well, Issa's not going to be known as a great rebounder, but you give him 3 opportunities, he's going to make one.
You don't have to be a great rebounder, just good enough. 3-point game. Francois with the anticipation, the leak out, and the finish.
Very nice body control there from Francois, anticipation, and that's the kind of scores that Minnetonka needs to keep in this one.
Remember, Hopkins averages over 96 a game, and they'll add 3 more on the touch tray from Trey Moore.
Nice open look there from Moore, the sophomore, and the Skippers will work it back down.
Hopkins 96 points per game, Minnetonka 70. Hopkins would like to employ a little more haste. Minnetonka, maybe not so much, but we'll see. Deep three. Minnetonka, how many times has their threes gone halfway in?
It's been a number of them. They're not off target by much, but they're just not quite dropping.
Hopkins looking for 3 more. They don't get it. Rebound tipped to Semenko. That was a tough layup. But Hart is there for cleanup duty, and Hart, by my count, has 7 points in the second half. He's up to 11.
Yeah, Hart scored all those 7 points probably in the last 2.5 minutes, and a nice cleanup there and a big bucket as Tesdall is going to use one of his timeouts.
Largest lead of the game for Hopkins, 44-38, 10:42 left. Don't go anywhere.
There are lots of reasons to want a big backyard. At Truestone Home Mortgage, we all agree dog birthday party is at the top. Great home loans, expert help, and a focus on what matters to you. It's true, because we're Truestone. A good neighbor would give you a cup of sugar if you asked. At Truestone Financial, we don't have any sugar, but we will give you up to $350 when you switch to a Truestone checking account. It's true, because we're Truestone.
Before the break, we spoke of Hopkins and their electric offense. Peter, Hopkins, throughout the season, they have reached the century mark 8 times, including 2 spurts of 3 in a row.
Yeah, they're super talented. Like you mentioned, they want to push the pace. They've got every guy on the floor can score the ball, and they can score both from inside and out. We haven't seen a lot of mid-range shots from Hopkins. They've been either getting to the hoop or taking the 3, which is based on the analytics what a lot of coaches want. I talked to Tesdall last year. He said a good shot for us is an open 3, a layup, or a free throw, and I think that's what a lot of coaches are looking at these days. The mid-range game has kind of gone away.
If you look at NBA and college shot charts, that will tell the tale. I often talk about the Steph Curry effect and how that put an emphasis on 3-pointers. And I remember a chat I had with the late Carl Pearson as Minnetonka works their way, to your point, Peter, found open space down low, and Bodie takes it home.
Yeah, good pick roll action. Malachi finds himself open, and a nice feed from Hudson.
Smith for 3. Offline. Hopkins gets a second crack at it. Moore looking to maneuver through Francois. Instead, it's a driving kick. 3 from the corner rattles out. Minnetonka with 3 timeouts left, by the way. Touch 3 from the corner. Can't get the bounce. Bodie scrapping for it. Richardson, mid-range, swish.
Well, Richardson gets paid off there. He was unselfish on that first pass over to Hudson in the corner. Hudson had 13 in the first half. He went to the hot hand, but Richardson able to score, and it is 44-42. The Royals are up.
Jaden Moore will change that with a runner of his own. Only 4 points for Jaden Moore. Minnetonka doing a solid job keeping him in check. But like we said, anyone on that starting 5 for Hopkins can turn it up. Or is Emma go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, as
well,
3 there
I guess
from Elamine.
Issa Elamine has his own plans.
Right. I think we got 5 players on the floor that all have, or 10 players on the floor that all have the green light.
Don't you like having the green light no matter where you go?
Absolutely.
The
drive here would have been a lot easier.
I was going to say, if only we could do that in real life. Bodie with the block. Hopkins staying with it. Bodie with the rejection, and Minnetonka has a chance to take the lead again. Bullseye!
Elamine right in front of Tesdall. That's about a 25-footer and a timeout as this crowd's getting back into it, Mike.
Getting back into it, an understatement. Issa Elamine, 15 points. He's got 8 in the second half. 48-46. Minnetonka trailed by 6 a moment ago. They now lead by 2.
It's not just any day. It's your day off. A chance to reset, to recharge. A day to lace up, stretch out, and dive into what ignites your soul. This day is all about you, living life at your summit.
Peter, you know this. The course of a game can change on a dime. Minnetonka trailed 44-38 just a moment ago, and a quick run, a 10-2 run to be precise, and now they have momentum on their side.
Yeah, that block shot by Malachi, and then able to stay there, grab that rebound. And, you know, Elamine will let it fly at any point. Didn't look like a great look for me from all the way over here, but it went in, and we've seen a lot of good looks not go in.
I don't know if you've coached, but sometimes you'll see what looks like a tough shot, and you might think to yourself, no, 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 and the ball goes in, and then changes to yes, yes, yes. But nothing is handed to you. Sometimes you got to make those tough shots. But Minnetonka flooring it just a pinch. Now Hopkins has to regroup, but we've seen these two heavyweights trade punches all night long. Not literally, of course. Another turnover. That's the last thing Hopkins wanted to see on an ATO.
Yeah, they got it down low, but made maybe one too many passes there, and Skipper's able to get that turnover.
8:10 remaining in the second half. A big late conference showdown. Minnetonka looking for win number 10 in a row. Hopkins looking to stay at 1 loss as Richardson can't bank in the 3.
Yeah, Duke called for that one a little bit too long.
Smith, driving kick. Moore throws it away.
And I think I haven't been tracking turnovers, but it seems like the volume has gone up a little bit here in the second half compared to the first half.
As we noted, Bryce Tesdall and the Minnetonka crew praising the defensive output from the Skippers. It was a team that wasn't expected to be a front runner, but here they are. A win against Hopkins would put them in the conversation. Prior Lake is their toughest foe in Section 2, but as we've seen, Peter, anything can happen in section playoff time.
100%. We're a long way from that point anyway.
That is a timeout. Timeout before the double dribble, and Bryce Tesdall had 3 of them. You'll hear this sometimes, Peter. Those timeouts help you save possession, and that could be crucial later on.
Well, this is an opportunity with only 4 on the shot clock. Last time there was 2 on the shot clock in the first half. I thought he maybe should have used one there. But here they're definitely going to clearly communicate. We only have 4 to shoot. Coach Novak thought maybe the travel happened before the timeout was called. That's, again, a judgment call. We talked about how the refs have been working together. I think a pretty well officiated game.
Absolutely. Nothing too crazy. And we don't really see a whole lot of jawing between the players and officials or the players at each other. This has been just an old-fashioned, hard-fought rivalry game.
Yeah, great place to be. Really good crowd. I know with the camera angle, you can kind of only see one side of the court, but this side also for student section on my right, on the right side of your screen, full of Minnetonka fans, and Hopkins also bringing some good fans.
Anytime you play Hopkins, a crowd shows up. That Hopkins-Wayzata game, the first meeting was sold out. Minnetonka, it's Elamine. Can't get the Plinko bounce. Had a couple of cracks at it. Hopkins wants to floor it. And a foul. It's on Bodie.
Yeah, Malachi, that's his first. So of all the starters, he was in the best position to actually commit a foul there. We got 3 fouls on Hudson and 3 on Elamine. But we're ticking down, 7 minutes to go. 3, not such a bad position to be in.
Jaden Moore, one of the best distributors in the state, finds Smith for 3. It's there.
Yeah, really good look there from Smith. Nice distribution. Hudson a little late on the rotation, and the Royals take the lead back 49-48.
And remember, this is just the first of 2 meetings. The 2 will square up at Hopkins. Later in the season, Minnetonka throws it away.
So a little miscommunication there from Francois and Richardson. Richardson cutting to the basket, and Caleb thought he was going to stay at the three-point line. So turnover there, and an opportunity here for Hopkins to build on this lead.
By the way, the rematch is February 21st. You're going to put it on the calendar, and you can put that Jaden Moore dribble drive on the calendar. A chance for 3.
Yeah, we haven't seen a lot of and one opportunities tonight, and a really nice drive there from Jaden Moore. He's the junior, and he'll get a chance to tack one more on.
Jaden Moore, 11 double-doubles in points and assists, but no three-point play. Hopkins 7 of 11 from the line. Minnetonka just 2 of 2. But remember, Hopkins didn't foul a whole lot in the first half.
Malachi being asked to do a lot of ball handling, not something that he normally does, but he's been doing a great job with it tonight.
Emblematic, though, of the stretch 4 era that has become commonplace in basketball. 9 to shoot for the Skippers. Ball knocked away. Smith to Moore. He can't catch up to it down low, so he'll fire a 3 and bury it.
Yeah, that's a great play there by Moore. Great steal, and then a quick transition bucket as Hopkins in business now up 6.
And how about that floor awareness of Jaden Moore? Some other players might have tried to force it. Moore realized, hey, that's not going to work. Go out to 3 and knock it down. Bodie can't do the same for Minnetonka. Hopkins looking for another 3 ball. It's off the front of the iron. Dead ball rebound to Minnetonka.
Yeah, I mentioned it earlier. I really like to see Semenko go more to the basket. I just, the 3 hasn't been working for him so much tonight, but he's been really dangerous cutting and rebounding. And if I'm a Hopkins fan, I want to see him going on the drive there.
Minnetonka, go mode. It's Francois who makes it a 4-point game.
Yeah, Francois just hanging down there in what the NBA calls the dunker spot, and he was just wide open and available for a layup.
I think he would know a thing or two about open space being the quarterback.
He rushed for a bunch of yards and passed, and he's fun to watch on that football field.
He's fun to watch here, too. That will be a foul on Richardson, his 3rd, and the last foul to give for Minnetonka.
So we got ourselves a 4-point ball game with 5 minutes to go. Mike, I don't think you could ask for much more on the Fox game of the week.
Jaden Moore. Hopkins will ask him to get a couple of points at the line, but you're right. And it's been a lot of fun, this Fox 9 Game of the Week partnership, giving us an opportunity to capture some fantastic matchups in hockey and basketball all winter long. Of course, girls hockey will have their state tournament in a few weeks. Everyone getting in on the prep basketball action now as Jaden Moore splits at the line. And Anthony Smith nearly tipped it in. 55-50. Last touch by Hopkins.
Hopkins seems to really, in these last few minutes, be extending that defense, making that ball pressure even more intense than it has been the whole game.
At the start, we said they're a team that likes to run it and turn you over. Here's a three. It graces the front iron. Foot race to the ball. And it will go to Minnetonka.
Yeah, Francois not able to connect on that open three, but Duke Richardson, nice hustle on the weak side, deflects it out of bounds. It'll be under the basket inbounds. I know Tesdall likes to work on these.
And a fresh 20 for the Skippers. Inbound tipped. It's a jump ball. And Jaden Moore scoops it. Drive and kick. Smith fakes the three and takes it in for two.
Smith was not going to be denied on that one. Good speed on that drive, able to wiggle around, and it is now a 7-point lead.
One of the state's top shooters. I think he'd find a spot on the track team. What do we have here?
Well, far side official calling the whistle. And still trying to sort things out as both teams huddling up.
It's Hopkins' ball.
Yeah, I didn't see a foul called, maybe a violation.
And I was looking to see if either team had called a timeout. Hopkins leads by 7. They have a chance to put an exclamation point here. Tough drive. Bodie cutting off Moore, and Jaden still down. Minnetonka with a 5-on-4. A foul on Hart, but Jaden Moore still on the floor. He took a hard hit on that drive.
Yeah, he hit the floor really hard after that layup attempt. Malachi was right there. Of course, Hopkins coaches thinking there might have been contact, nothing called. It looks like he's going to stay out there, still bent over, as the Skippers will have a chance to score with the clock stopped. 4:01 to go. They're down 7. And Hopkins, again, they picked up the pace. Their athleticism has extended this out to a 7-point lead. Some big free throws here for Caleb Francois.
Francois with 9 points, averaging 9.8. Moore will check out, and Peter, this could be a turning point because that is the primary facilitator for Hopkins. We were talking about his points, assist, double-doubles. Without him running the floor, that could hurt efficiency for Hopkins in this final 4:01. That's a shooting foul, so we got to do one more. Minnetonka doing this with a scrappy bunch of young men. They weren't the heroes last year, and Francois blanks at the line, but they got to see the example set by Stefanovic and the other seniors who pulled off that title run.
Yeah, I got to see Grayson Ullman's mom. He's playing he's actually redshirting for North Dakota, but there's good things ahead for that kid over there at ND.
14-footer switch for Tyson Moore. That's a big bucket with 3.5 to play.
Yeah, Hopkins really in control now. Skippers need a score on this possession.
Points have been hard to come by as of late. Ooh, that was close. 3 on the way. Minnetonka can't knock it down. Hopkins, outlet. Trey Moore couldn't get the finish. Issa El-Amin comes up with it. Issa attacks. Too strong.
Yeah, Issa looks like a little bit fatigued there. Worked really hard to get that rebound. We're going to have a timeout from Coach Novak. 2:57 to go, and the Royals up by 9.
We're back in 30 seconds.
There are lots of reasons to want a big backyard. At Truestone Home Mortgage, we all agree dog birthday party is at the top. Great home loans, expert help, and a focus on what matters to you. It's true, because we're Truestone. A good neighbor would give you a cup of sugar if you asked. At Truestone Financial, We don't have any sugar, but we will give you up to $350 when you switch to a True Stone checking account. It's true, because we're True Stone.
Don't forget, we're back here next Tuesday as our Fox 9 Game of the Week coverage continues with Minnetonka and St. Michael-Albertville girls basketball. 7 o'clock right here on Fox9.com, the Fox 9 YouTube channel, and Fox Local, where you can watch on demand. So if you weren't able to catch it live, don't worry, you can watch it anytime.
Some great athletes on the girls' side. I encourage anyone who's watching tonight who enjoys what they're seeing to tune in for that one as well.
I've seen Minnetonka girls basketball a couple of times this season, and much like the boys team, they're having to get it done with a lot of new faces.
Yeah, Linnell Wright is back, but a lot of new folks for sure.
Hopkins trying to close this one out and go to 16-1. The dump down, hard with the finish.
Yeah, really nice distribution there from Smith, and a double-digit lead for the first time tonight.
Could that be the dagger? Minnetonka, that's Hudson evading the pressure from Trey Moore. Hudson can't shake free of him. Elamine gets open, can't hit the three, and Peter, that seems to be the difference in the closing stages. Minnetonka having a tough time finding the hole. Hopkins getting their shots to fall.
Yep, and Hopkins going to the basket, getting those twos on layups and better opportunities. And Minnetonka getting good looks from three, just not able to get them to fall.
There's a saying, if you shoot well, you look good. If you don't, you can run into trouble. Hopkins looking to throw down the dagger, and they'll have a chance to do it at the free throw line with Anthony Smith. And Peter, I know Hopkins plays a shorter rotation, just 8 players, but to close out without Jaden Moore, the point guard that is the talk of the state seemingly. I know the rest of the Hopkins squad has plenty of talent of their own, but I think that would add another marker to why they are in the conversation, why they're number 3 in the Class 4A rankings.
Yeah, Moore's back out there, but he's definitely not as 100% at this point. And just going over to talk to Coach Novak as a substitution coming in. Semenko will check back in. He'll replace Tyson Moore. And yeah, Jaden's had a great game, but he definitely sat for a good period of time, and you're right, that's going to say a lot about the depth of that team.
Of course, the looming question for Hopkins as Smith splits at the line, can they get past Wayzata? They haven't been able to do that the last few years. The first meeting was a sellout. I imagine the second and section final, if it comes to that, will be sellouts as well, as Hopkins fouls Jacob Hudson. And for Minnetonka, Prior Lake, currently first in Section 2-4A based on QRF. And Prior Lake, that's where Dawson Garcia went. They put out some pretty stellar athletes. I don't want to say it will be a hard climb, a hard hill for Minnetonka, but Hopkins playing some hard defense. With 1:18 to go, Bodie, his 3, short, but you have to think Minnetonka, even if they don't win tonight, will be at least an X factor, a sleeper in Section 2.
Yeah, beautiful block there by Semenko to kind of put an end to the Minnetonka hopes on that last possession.
Jumper the other way. Minnetonka keeps it in play. They get the outlet. Richardson pops a 3, swish. Minnetonka will take a timeout. We'll keep it here, but 48.6, a lot would have to happen with a 35-second clock, although we saw what Arizona did last night to Iowa State, so maybe I shouldn't put the final period on this chapter yet.
Not yet. I mean, 9 points is a big lead, especially in this game that's really been played mostly within a 4 to 5 point differential. And then, Hopkins has blown this lead back up to double digits here late. So it'll be interesting. Minnetonka will definitely have to rely on getting a couple turnovers here. Foul situation, Minnetonka was 7. The Royals still a couple to give. They've only got 4.
And it doesn't get any easier for Minnetonka. They get Wayzata on Friday. It will be a road game, the first of 2 meetings. Hopkins after this. They will play a Saturday afternoon tilt with Buffalo as they continue Lake Conference play. And then they'll have a non-conference game with Minneapolis-Washburn. That could be a fun battle. Washburn, they've put together some good teams in recent years.
And the Skippers do get that aforementioned turnover, so if they can quickly get some points here, time is, of course, their enemy.
And they only have 1 timeout left to stop the clock. As you know, the clock does not stop for a made basket at this level. Hopkins still with a couple fouls to give. Ooh. Foul before the shot.
So they do take one of those fouls to give. Smart there. Novak imploring his troops to be smart with using those fouls. They obviously don't want to use them when a player is shooting.
Hopkins has 1 more to give as the construction-clad student section is saying start the buses. Minnetonka trying to pull one out of the hat. They go inside, kick out, Richardson 3, got it again. And now Minnetonka has to foul.
Yeah, Francois tried to give it in the backcourt, finally able to get the call as the Jaden Moore will go to the line. So a 6-point game, 20 and change left here, and Moore will have the 1 in the bonus.
Jaden Moore to shoot 1 and 1. Moore with 10 points. Hopkins 9 of 15 from the line. That's a big one, and I think that should do it.
Yeah, Moore uses that front of the rim, and he's, he suffered a little injury, still moving a little bit more slowly than I would normally see him, but able to cash that one in, and that was a big one, Mike.
Hopkins will take a timeout. We'll keep it here as we have 20 seconds left. I've joked about the stubbornness of players, and this is not a knock or to suggest they are full of themselves, but when you're an athlete, you want to play. So even if Jaden's not 100%, yeah, I don't think he's going to sit this one out.
Yeah, and that's always going to be a discussion between the trainer and the coach, and some sort of discussion there. You know, there's a difference between being hurt and being injured, and you want to find out if it's something that a player can make worse by playing. And apparently the discussion was had, and Moore's able to come out here and finish this one up. Yeah, he did sit out for a little bit.
Right, he did. And we're not privy to those discussions, and this isn't to say he shouldn't play, he should play, but those are some of the conversations that take place when you get a player who's a little banged up. But Hopkins, we usually don't see them in a more defensively oriented game, but I guess you don't get to 15-1 and possibly 16-1 without finding a few different ways to win. 8 games over 100 points. That won't happen tonight, but they got that big run late.
Yeah, and they've been able to keep that lead, hold on to it. That pressure defense and getting some good open looks near the basket has really been the difference for the Royals.
20.4 on the clock. Minnetonka would need a whole lot of things to go their way now. Another 3. That's 3 in a row. And Minnetonka will take their last timeout. And even if this doesn't result in a win for Minnetonka, as Elamine goes to 18, I say this a lot, Peter, you never know who's watching. Isa Elamine, for example, just got an offer from Concordia-St. Paul a couple days ago. It's one thing to play when you're in front or it's a close game. It's another when the win probably out of reach, but to see them still scrapping, still trying to come up with something, that could go a long way, not just for this season, but for any of those players who have college aspirations in mind.
100%, and I don't think I've seen a Tesdall coach team that doesn't go wire to wire with effort, and that's what we saw tonight. And you're absolutely right. You know, Issa's going to continue to grind, continue to play. It's been a pretty even scoring tonight. Duke Richardson with 14, Hudson with 13. I believe those were all in the first half. and then Issa leading all scorers with 18. And yeah, he's got everything that you would look for. He's a leader. He's a good teammate. Apparently a great guy off the court. And you're right. You never know who's watching this.
One thing's for sure, your coaches are going to watch this, and if they see you taking a play off or slacking in a game like this, you're going to hear it. And with only 15.8 left, again, a lot would have to happen for Minnetonka to get the win, but it's one thing to check out and say, well, forget it, let's try again the next game. No, Minnetonka, they came to play 36 minutes. That's what they're going to do.
I like the timeout there from Tesdall. He knows that Hopkins would have let 5 or 6 seconds run off. This time they can't do that, and just a few ticks before Francois commits the foul on Semenko.
Semenko with 9 points, but he is a marksman at the free throw line, 87%. This is still 1-1 though.
And yeah, Novak has been around long enough to have his good free throw shooters out there, and I'm sure he drew up a play to get Semenko the ball.
Well, Ken has only won 1 or 2 titles. More than that in his lifetime as a coach. Semenko knocks down the freebies. Another 3 for Minnetonka. This one short. Bodie gets the bounce, but Minnetonka will run out of time. They put up a fight at the end, but Hopkins will go to 16-1 and end the 9-game win streak at Minnetonka.
And yeah, this is all gamesmanship, but Hopkins player decided that they didn't want to touch the ball, so they couldn't start the 5-second clock, and now the officials are talking. All academic at this point, but maybe something for the rules committee to think about in the last minute of games.
Or a reason, a ruse to give the public address crew a chance to play that ever famous theme from Irv Griffin. Now Bryce Tesdall will get an explanation. So they're going to call, I believe, a delay of game technical. No, it will be a technical on Caleb Francois.
So I didn't notice this time, but I know last time when Hopkins was not wanting to inbounds the ball, one of the skipper's players came and handed it to him, and I believe that's probably a violation.
So a technical foul on Francois, and that's it for him. Academic at this point. As the lights come on, Semenko knocks down the free throws.
Yeah, an odd way for the game to end. Obviously, Royals were going to be able to inbound with just a few ticks left to go. And it was the game was over, but I think maybe I'll send this into Minnesota State High School League and see what they think.
It's worth reminding fans, as we'll wrap this up here in a moment, a team that scores cannot touch the ball before it's inbounded. And that's what led to the technical foul. So Hopkins will run out the clock and travel before time expires. And I'm laughing because, not because of that, but we were just talking about odd endings, Peter, and just when you think it couldn't get any stranger, we get a traveling call with time on the clock, and now we got to put a second back on.
Well, the referees need to call the game. They call it for the whole time.
Exactly.
And they don't care that there's, the game is technically over by the score. They need to call the rules by where they are. And so now we are finally done, Mike, and I really appreciate you having me here tonight. It was really fun.
68-61, the final. Hopkins over Minnetonka. And to Peter's point, yep, the officials, just like the players, they're here for 36 minutes. And if you're going to call that in the first second, you got to call it in the last second. But what a performance from Hopkins in crunch time. They end up with 4 players in double digits. That's about what they average per game. So Hopkins, maybe they don't get to the century mark, but another showcase of their balance, and that's why I think they're going to be a tough out in Section 6.
Right, and just when you think there might be a team that really wants to play in the hundreds or the 90s, they show that they can play a game in the 60s as well.
And for Minnetonka, the 9-game win streak is over, but I think we saw this is a team that can hang with the best of them, and I think they can take some positives going into Wayzata, so another big chance for Minnetonka to show. in the first time those two have met since last year's state championship. Minnetonka, I think, looking to prove we belong, and even though they don't get the win, I think they took a step in that direction.
I would agree with you. I think they've been peaking in the top 10 in some of the rankings now based on that nice win streak, and I don't think this will do anything to make people think otherwise in terms of their potential down the stretch.
So that will do it for this edition of our Fox 9 Game of the Week, presented by Summit Orthopedics and True Stone Financial. We invite you to join us next Tuesday night right here at Minnetonka. It will be girls basketball on the slate. Minnetonka and St. Michael Abbeville, the most recent state champions in Class 4A, and both looking to get back there this year. So, for Peter Amstutz and the rest of the Fox9.com crew, this is Mike Beaton thanking you for watching live coverage of high school boys basketball right here on Fox9.com, the Fox 9 YouTube channel, and Fox Local. We'll see you next time.